All right, everyone out there in YouTube land and returning subscribers, it's your boy Andy Rambles, the music adventurer, and I am back with a overview of my favorite of 2022, and what a great year for music. You know, another horrible year for the world. Things kind of returning to normal more or less, but lots of bad things happening too. But the music has been so good, and 2021 there were a lot of holdovers from 2020, and we got a lot of stuff last year. It was really hard to formulate a list. And this year, it was just as hard, or maybe harder. I will say that I haven't listened to everything. So obviously, if you have any recommends, but I've hit all my favorites, and I've discovered so many new bands and artists too, and that'll be reflected a little in the top 10, but there's a bunch of honorable mentions. Number 10 is going to be, and I don't have a copy of this one, but Big Thief. Um, their album Dragon New Warm Mountain, and yeah, this album is kind of like Tusk for the modern ages. I think the Little Things and a couple of the other singles came out in 2021. I remember listening to specifically Little Things so much last year, but it became, I think, in my top three most played tracks of this year. And it's definitely, to me, that's the main event of the record, that song. It's kind of to the record what Sarah is on Tusk. But just like Tusk from Fleetwood Mac, every song on here is good. There's a lot of more hushed moments, kind of like the Christine McVie led things on Tusk. And yeah, there's never a boring moment. I mean, some people say it's maybe a little too long. Um, there's a lot of kind of softer dynamics, and kind of more tender songwriting, and there, every track is great. Number 9 is going to be, which way up is this now? Animal Collective, Time Skiffs. And it would be really hard to redo my Animal Collective discography ranked and find out where this one ranked, but I mean, I do love it. So yeah, we heard a lot of these on bootlegs leading up to the album, as is usually the case with Animal Collective, Car Keys and Dragon Slayer and stuff like that. And there were a couple singles, Prester John and We Go Back, that all preceded the album, or came before the album. Um, I think that the last track, I think I was talking to one of my friends about this, and he said he loved the album. The last track left a little to be desired. I think that one's the crowning achievement of the record. I think it's the most different from what they do. But they're not a band that repeats themselves. This was their first album in 6 years, actually 6 years since a full length. Though they kept us happy with lots of EPs, and there were some live releases that came out on Bandcamp, and a live bootleg that apparently one day is going to be like a DVD thing, DVD combo. Hasn't come out yet. Tangerine Reef was amazing. They've been doing some soundtracks, one of which came out this year. Um, yeah, so they've been keeping busy, and there's lots of solo stuff, especially from Avi and Panda. But yeah, I mean, there's a group that keeps on giving, and I've never, I mean, there's not an Animal Collective record that I dislike, so, they got a good track record. Number 8, not to ruffle any feathers or anything, but I love this. A lot of Beach Boys fans don't. I was kind of surprised looking on one of the sites I go to at the critical reaction, and then yeah, I got to shout out Giggins' channel, because that's the reason why I don't post about Beach Boys, even though I love them and have been getting so into them, in the second half of my life thus far. But he just knows so much about the Beach Boys that it's like if I posted anything, it would be redundant. You know, the new Sail on Sailor box set is amazing. But he covers everything. He knows everything about that band. He's just a joy to listen to. And he did a review of this, and I was going, ooh, I know he liked She and Him, and he loves the Beach Boys, but I thought, oh, maybe he won't like it, because I already made my decision. I thought it was incredible. just how they rework these songs. And he liked it, but there were a lot of comments that is like, I don't feel you on this one, Giggins. It's boring, or why does Zoe sound so uh, bored or stoic? Yeah, stoic. And it's like, she does sometimes have a stoic delivery, but it really works. And sometimes she doesn't. It's very sweet and innocent, and her backing vocals coming in, just the layers of Zoe's coming in on the track, whether she's taking lead or M Ward takes lead on some of these. And I've always liked she and him a lot, and I'm just glad they put out something that wasn't a Christmas album. Even though some of their Christmas songs are well done, but redoing some of those songs again, it's like, come on, guys, you guys got so many good songs you could do. And they haven't done an album of originals in a long time, so maybe they're overdue for that after that they get this out of their system. But I hope the tour is going well, because it kind of stunned me how people weren't liking this album. I think it's amazing. I love especially the first three tracks, which were the three that came out before the album dropped. Their version of Melt Away, which was a Brian solo song from the late 80s. um, Turning Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder into like this song that sounds like it's out of a movie in the 30s. Like, very inspired stuff. And Heads You Win, Tails I Lose, it's kind of like, what the? But it works. I just remember my first listen to it, I was like, what happened? But it's still cool. And I mean, that's the least remarkable Beach Boys song on here. So to turn it into this thing where it sounds like Neil Young, like trans, something from his trans album. It's like, holy. And Do It Again, Brian appears, and he obviously, like he always does these days, he sounds worse for wear, but they mix really well. It works. I like it. I definitely like it. 7 is going to be Moon Tricks Currents, and I got an email about a month ago that says your copy of Currents will be 16 to 20 weeks, and I'm like, oh my god, the wait is killing me. These guys were one of the I went to a festival called Rifflandia Festival, and these guys were one of the discoveries of the show. I made the most discoveries I've ever made at this fest before. Not that I've been every year or anything, but and Moontricks, yeah, were one of the best discoveries, and one of the ones where I came home and was like, order the album, like, let's order it. But yeah, it's they're in the process of being pressed, and I think it's a shame that Moontricks do have a lot of followers and plays on Spotify, but not really for this record. Like, their plays are more for like one-off singles and mostly like collabs and stuff like that. And I think that this is their crowning achievement thus far, because it's way more focused, and there is some cohesion. But I just love this band's marriage of like electronics trends that are more current, pun not intended that time, if you can believe it, and organic sounds. I think they do that really well, and their live show was like a religious experience. I'll always remember Moontricks, and I hope they come back. I love this band. Number 6 is going to be the mighty comeback of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We flew down to Vegas just to see the show supporting this, because they didn't come to our part of the world at the time. This isn't one of the 37,000 color variants, it's just the black one. So no colors for me. But there weren't 3,700 variants, but there were like 40 or something, or 25 at least. It got a little insane. But yeah, I was so happy about this, and the pre-release singles, especially Black Summer, really blew me away. I really liked that one. And seeing them play some of these live, like These Are the Ways, was a lot of fun. And seeing John, I've seen Chili Peppers twice before, but they were both with Josh, because yeah, I was too young when I was getting into the Chili Peppers and Californication came out. I didn't even really know what a live show was. I just loved their songs and that. But it was great to actually see them, and it was a good tour for sure, and it's kind of being extended into next year with the release of the new album. So they had 2 albums in 1 year. The next was called Return of the Dream Canteen. But yeah, this is this is mostly Stadium Arcadium levels of greatness on most of these tracks. And that's all I could ask for all these years later with John returning. And yeah, I can't wait for more with the band because they keep saying like, oh, more to come. We're just getting started. And tip of my tongue from the newer album that came out roughly 6 months after Unlimited Love, kind of implies like we're just beginning again. And it's like, wow, really? So we'll see. But he's got some solo work coming out. I think it's in January or February, and apparently it's back to the really experimental stuff, not rock oriented or song oriented even. But I'm really interested to hear it because everything he does solo, even the stuff that people don't seem to gravitate towards, it's all very interesting. It's not all gonna be like excellent or the highest echelons, but John does go up to those upper reaches, and he skirts the surface sometimes when he misses. He's a brilliant artist. Number 5, as it just kind of lingers in the air, Elevator. This was another one that I discovered live at the same festival as the Moon Tricks, and I came home and I don't know if they were selling this at the merch table, but it got a little overwhelming. So I probably just didn't look or whatever. But yeah, this is amazing. And they sound so, like, it sounds so modern, and it sounds like something a more established act would have put out. So I really like the production on it. I apologize for my voice. Um, I've been sick the last week, so I sound under the weather, but I'm definitely still, I'm back to normal mentally. Like, I'm like, oh, like, I gotta talk about music again. Charlie I.O., is it? Yeah, it's Charlie I.O., not Charlie 10. I almost read it as Charlie 10. That's the big earworm, and it seems to be like the most streamed out of everything on the record. That's my least favorite, but don't get me wrong, I think that's an incredible song too. Like every album on this top 10 list, there's no bad tracks. Like I didn't put on any records onto the top 10 that I thought had a bad track, because for me, what makes a good album is consistency. So that's this band's party trick. Uh, as I'm reading the track list. Yeah, but incredible record. I really recommend it. What's next here? Now I got them out of order. Silly me. Number 4, and this was a little lower in the top 10, but in the last month or two it's grown even more. I loved it when it came out. It came out a long time ago, but the album wasn't pressed to vinyl, and it didn't come out on CD till last month, so it was a long wait to get a physical copy. And this is one of my favorite things Panda Bear's ever done. And whenever he works with Sonic Boom, aka Pete from Spaceman 3 back in the day, and then Spectrum in the 90s, and now he does things under his I guess stage name, you could say, Sonic Boom. Yeah, everything they do together is just magic. Like, they did the Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper, which was one of my favorite albums of that year. Might have been in the top 3 for that year, I can't remember. It doesn't matter, I just love it. And when I play Panda Bear records in order, it's like, it's always a treat. I think Tomboy, which Sonic Boom helped him on, the final mixes of that, there are a lot of, you can hear a lot of the Panda Bear mixes online and on the deluxe record set, but every time they work together, it's magical. And I think Tomboy's still my favorite, tied with Person Pitch, but this is giving them a run for their money. And Sonic Boom even takes lead, or I mean, he sings 50-50 with Panda Bear, but on one of these tracks here, so it's good to hear him, and he does some background vocals and stuff. And these two just play everything, and they produced everything. Yeah, it's incredible. I was so addicted to Go On when that came out. I just played that over and over and over. It must be up with Little Things by Big Thief and Black Summer as one of, if not the top 3 most played of the year. But everything on here is great. Like, In My Body is hypnotizing. Edge of the Edge kind of has these Paul Simon kind of Graceland, or maybe even like, yeah, Graceland era vocals running through it. Every Day is one of the best songs of the year. And yeah, these are just hypnotic. They're hypnotizing. Panda Bear is really good at using repetition to his not to his detriment, but to his advantages. And he's always done that. And he kind of pounds you in the head with these crazy good vocal hooks and arrangements that he comes up with. And, he sings them all so angelically. And, if you don't get it, you'd be like, why are these songs repeating so much? Like, someone I know was like about Boys Latin, like, which is off one of the other records, Meets the Grim Reaper. Like, where does it go? Like, why does it just repeat this over and over again? But, like, for me, that's the beauty of it. And his hooks are so strong, it doesn't matter that, they come back again and again. And the song as a whole, it does have a destination, but yeah, the lead vocals, there's a lot of repetition, and he uses it to his advantage, and he always has, and that record's no exception. It's one of my favorite things he's ever done. And Sonic Boom too, those two are brilliant. Sonic is such a nice guy, and I just have nothing but good things to say about those two and that record. Number, what is it, 3 already? Top 3, Return of the Dream Canteen, the second of 2 Red Hot Chili Peppers albums in the same year. And the first time I listened to it, I thought, oh, it's good, but it's not as good as Unlimited Love. And then I just kept re-listening, and especially the latter half, they're taking some chances for a band of their caliber and a band of their history. And it's just an exciting, fresh-sounding record. Side A, Tip of My Tongue, that single is fantastic. Peace and Love, that's my mantra, and that's, it's so cliche, but because the Beatles were writing about peace and love, and it's like, the well hasn't run dry. You can keep writing about that. Reach Out comes with that huge hard chorus, and rocks like, men half their age. Eddie is one of the standout singles of the year, about obviously Eddie Van Halen, and it's such a nice tribute, and it has the craziest guitar solo ever. Imagine seeing that one live. That would be incredible. They played it a couple times, obviously not going back to when I saw them in August. Fake as that one is incredible and funky. Yeah, and like I said, side C and D are a little more experimental even than A and B, other than My Cigarette, and it's just, and I'm there for it. I love hearing this band, so fresh again. They've really, not that I never disliked anything they did. I never thought with Josh that they were going through the motions. It was just another fold. But I think this is, well, The Getaway is great, but I think this is my favorite one since By the Way. I might, take that back in a year or so, but, I love all this band's records, and this one was just, it's so lovingly crafted, and the guys are having so much fun, and yeah, I just love it. I'm here for it. Number 2 is going to be Cave In, Heavy Pendulum, and the hype sticker on this one said, first album by these boys in more than a decade, and I'm thinking, well, what about Final Transmission, which was used with bits of their recordings with their bass player before he tragically died very young. And I thought, is that, because I always counted that as an album, and I counted it on my year-end list that year, and I loved it, and so I don't know, but this is amazing, and this goes a little heavier again, which is what a lot of Cave In fans probably want from Cave In. A lot of their stuff is heavier than a lot of bands that I listen to, but I've always loved Cave In so much. Jupiter's one of my favorite albums of all time. Antenna's amazing. The Tides of Tomorrow EP is amazing. I loved Final Transmission when that came out. I didn't think it sounded like a bunch of kind of B-sides and haphazard songs. It kind of was, in a way, like picked up from the scraps of the recordings they made with Caleb. But I thought it really worked as an album. But this one's even better somehow. I didn't think they'd top that so late in the game. And this might be my second or third Cave In record ever. Waiting for Love, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's like Black Sabbath, like for the new school. And they have some ones with the heavy vocals, and I think all the songs that are longer are the best ones. Waiting for Love's one of my favorites too, but Yeah, like Blinded by a Blaze and Wavering Angel, which is a tribute to Caleb if you read the lyrics along. And thankfully the lyrics are included. It's gatefold. It's on a nice red vinyl. I haven't been showing the vinyl, but that's because I don't ever get the color variants. Not on purpose or anything, but this one I got the red. I mean, I just order whatever I see first, and sometimes color variants are more harder to get, and I don't mess around really. I'm not doing the mess around, but yeah, anyway, I thought that was really cool, and it's an amazing record. And my number one, I don't have a copy because, I chose experiences this year. I went to more live shows than I ever did, and probably will ever get to go to. But I couldn't, that's why I don't have a lot of the physical media in my top 10 or my rest of my list, because this came out later in the year anyway, and Christmas and trips and concerts, the money runneth dry, and but always Blue Rev is going to be my number one. Hopefully by this time next year I'll have a copy, because that album is blowing me away. I think the first time I listened to it 4 more times. I don't usually do that or have the time to do that, but yeah, Always is amazing. I'll be seeing them next year. I'm really excited. I've never seen them before. I've never listened to an album front to back by them, but now I gotta go buy the last 2 as well. They're an amazing band. They're one of my favorite newer bands. I mean, obviously they're not new anymore, but I was a little late to the game because I didn't hear the debut. I remember hearing songs from it and liking it, but and I'll probably love it now. But Blue Rev, like, every song is just perfect. It's such a perfect record. The vocals are great, the textures. I love her voice. I love everything about them. I love their aesthetic. They're an amazing band, and I already count them as one of my favorite bands. I haven't seen them live yet, but just based on this one record. So I look forward to more from Always. Here's some honorable mentions. Girl Puppy, When I'm Alone almost got the 10 spot. Spiritualized Everything was beautiful, knocked me out. I mean, that band's never made a bad record, but the last 2 or 3 have been almost as great as the first 3 or 4. Like, holy heck, like, J Spaceman, you're doing a great job, and it really is beautiful. A.O. Gerber was a new discovery this year. Her album Meet Me in the Gloaming knocked me knocked me off my chair. Third Secret, their self-titled record, that's Chris Novoselic's new band, and a lot of reviews hadn't been very good for that one, but I thought it was great. It's probably the least consistent one I'm naming here, but the songs that were great were just like 5 out of 5, like fantastic. I was really, I didn't know what to expect when I put it on, and you get those great Kim Soundgarden riffs coming in and out of the songs. Oh my god. Yeah, it's incredible. Tears for Fears, The Tipping Point. A lot of people, it's their least favorite Tears for Fears record. I haven't heard the last like 3 or 4 leading up to this, but I like this even more than their glory days of their commercial period. I love the textures and the modern production and songwriting. I think these guys fit really well with guys half their age. People should just give it more of a chance, in my opinion. Envy of None, their self-titled release, which I would love to get on a vinyl copy. That's Alex Lifeson's new project band. It's very electronic though, so some Rush fans aren't liking it as much. I think it's incredible. The second single in particular is one of my favorite songs in the last couple of years. Caroline Loveglow's Strawberry, for anyone that likes, chill wave or kind of George Clanton leaning stuff. I mean, oh man, she was so good coming right out the gates here. Incredible record. Would love to own that too. I'm probably gonna regret not putting this in the top 10 because it really grew on me, but Collective Souls Vibrating, stellar. Maybe their best record in years. And I really liked Blood, and I really liked See What You Started by Continuing. So, but Vibrating, wow. The Big Moon, Here Is Everything, I think it's called. The one with the pregnant lady from the band on the cover. Sorry, I don't know their names yet, but I hope I do in a few months, because more exploring required. I love the Big Moon right off the bat. The Smile, Light for Attracting Attention, that's the Radiohead project, Johnny Greenwood, Tom York, and Nigel Godrich. And it's kind of like more kind of post punk, I guess. It's not as progressive or light as a Radiohead record. It's more kind of rock. It's kind of archival, but Toast by Neil Young is going to get a mention. Even better versions of the Are You Passionate songs. This is what the record could have been, and it's fantastic. I love it. He's rocking out with the horse again. And he did a new album with Crazy Horse called World Record, which was recorded in like a day or two with Rick Rubin. And I've heard the singles, but I haven't actually heard that record yet. So, yeah, I mean, I look forward to putting it on soon. Besnard Lakes Are the Prayers for the Death of Fame. I mean, I'm never sure to put EPs on here or not, but the closing song on here is one of my favorite things that has come out this year. It really blew me away. It's really long and dense, and I really liked it. And more honorable mentions, a little lower, but these are all great to fantastic records. Marillion, Anyway Gang's sophomore album, And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead. Sparta came really hard with their game this time, which is good because the last album didn't really do that much for me. This one is pretty cool, actually. Florence and the Machine, Dream Widow, which is, Dave Grohl's... it's a little harsher than what I usually listen to. Like, this is harsher than the Cave-In record because it's fast and thrashy and everything. But, good music is good music. Our Lady Peace, Spiritual Machines 2, the Sadies, which it might be their last record because Dallas Good passed away, unfortunately, R.I.P., but it might be one of the best records they've done. It's so good. Sloan, their album Steady, which is their 13th album, Sloan and Steady, and I mean, they've never made a bad album. I love Sloan so much. Another one is Congotronics International, which is members of the Kasai All-Stars. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I've listened to them in the past. I really like they're so upbeat and infectious and fun, and they're teaming with Deerhoof and all these other people and making this crazy blend of different influences coming together. Porcupine Tree, and all 4 EPs from Weezer. Yes, I said it. I know some people like a couple, but not the other couple, and some people go, oh, these guys are so cheesy now. I think, other than maybe a song or two, like, all 4 EPs are really good. There might be a song or two I didn't like off Autumn. I think the last 2 off the Winter one that dropped a couple days ago are some of Weezer's best songs since OK Human. Which isn't going that far back, but these guys keep surprising me, and and Rivers' voice is still so strong, and yeah, he writes some kind of bogus things every once in a while, but that's Weezer's charm. I mean, they're the band that on their debut album, one of the best albums of all time, one of the lines is "Choo choo choo, choo choo train arrived on time," or left right on time. Paraphrasing now, but and Undone the Sweater song. Oh no, it gone, bye bye, and people are going, like, they've always had kooky lyrics. That's part of the charm, but to go with that, they also have a lot of introspection. I don't know. People are so down on every time Weezer tries something new, but it's like, I don't know. I love it. But anyway, ramble. That's my top 10 plus a whole whack load of honorable mentions. Please let me know what maybe I should listen to that I missed, and let me know your top 10 or some of your favorites, at least a handful of them. And lots of more videos coming soon. Hopefully my voice will be back, but hey, even if it isn't, I can make a video anyway. Thanks so much for watching. Peace and love, like Anthony Kiedis says, and take care of yourselves out there. Happy holidays if you celebrate the holidays.